G Suite is just a fancy term that Google uses for Google Suite. It's for our education apps, and some of those apps we'll use more often than others. If we go here to our little Rubik's Cube, you can see a lot of them. We have a lot of them pinned to your shelf or whatever you decided to pin. What you guys will use a lot would be your Google Docs, your Drive, probably slides for presentation. You'll use Calendar a lot. Google Forms, a lot of your teachers will use forms for tests or quiz or just feedback forms, and a lot of your teachers will use Classroom. All of those things are apps, and you should be used to that kind of from your phones. Apps are just applications, so different things that that are created, different applications. So it's pretty much the same basis as things that are used on your phone. And actually, Google has a doc application for your phone and a Google Form application for your phone. And all of the applications that they have for Chrome, most of them they have for your phone too. So it's kind of nice because everything can work from your computer in your phone, and we'll talk about that later. But this tutorial is about your G Suite apps. So we're going to look at the first one, and that is your Drive, and looking around your Drive and how to organize that. So you can either have a shortcut on your shelf, which I really recommend. I would also recommend having a shortcut up here on your favorites, so that if you're working from home, remember those shortcuts on your shelf, they're not going to be there. So I would also have a bookmark up here. But to get there the first time, I always just open up a new tab, and then I call this the Rubik's Cube. So I go right here and then go and open up my Drive. And I make things up, but I call the Drive my hub, and that's because everything ends up being saved in your Drive. All of your docs, all of your sheets, all of your forms, everything that you create ends up saved here. You can also, everything that people share, it all goes through here. You can create new stuff through your Google Drive. It's not the most efficient, but you can. So if you're kind of confused about making stuff, like where to go, if you just remember, go to your Drive, go to your hub, it can all start from here. So this is where we would start. And the big thing that you guys want to get in the habit of is making sure that your Drive is organized. So as teachers start sharing stuff with you, and as you start making documents for classes, you want to make sure that everything kind of goes stays organized. So you want to create folders, and I like to make those folders have colors and stay in order. So what we're going to look at first is how to create new folders. So we're going to go right here to New, and we're going to create a folder. And we'll just make one for computer applications. And pre-algebra, language arts, okay, and anything else that you want to make. So one way to organize your folders is to color code them. And to do that, you can right click on your folder, and you can come right down here to change colors. And they all default to gray, but you can choose just any color that you want. So you can change according to whatever color you want. If you have colors assigned in your calendars, you might color code according to that. It just kind of depends on what kind of person you are. So here we have colors assigned. Okay, now there's another way that you can organize this, and that is with numbers, so that as you go, things will be arranged numerically also. So if you have something that you always want to be at the beginning of your drive, you could have a number 1 and then the name of the file folder. So like I have a folder called to print, and I always want that to be at the front of my drive. Well, your drive is arranged alphabetically. So see, we have computer, language arts, pre-algebra. It's all alphabetical. So if I want my to print folder, or you could have a homework folder. So if I want homework, and we're going to make my homework folder, what color? We'll make it orange. But I want that to be first. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow a link, and we are going to get some little numbers. Okay, so we're at copy paste character, and these are the numbers that we're going to use. There's a few different types, so you can choose which kind you want. I'm going to choose this one, and so I want my homework folder to be the first one. So I'm going to do number 1. So I'm just going to copy that and come here, and I'm going to right click and rename my folder. So I right click and rename, and in front of the H I'm going to paste. So I'm going to do Control V and then a space and hit OK. And so that's going to be number 1. You could arrange this however you want to. You could do it by class hours. You could do it by, I always want homework to be number 1. You choose. Your organization is completely up to you. Just by numbers, just by colors, whatever you want. You could have all of your A days be a color, all of your B days a color. Totally up to you. But that's organizing your drive by color and number. So next, what I want to show you is how to get things that are shared with you into your drive and to keep them there. So we have folders as teachers that people share with us, and we want to keep getting them. In yearbook, we have a yearbook folder that everybody uses all the time. It's my folder that I've created, but everybody needs to get into it. And one way to always get into it is to keep going back to the shared folders. Well, it's kind of, if you have lots of stuff shared with you, you can lose it. So instead of going back and back to it, there's a neat little trick to be able to always have it in your drive. So we are going to go find that. I have shared the yearbook folder with CMS Student. So we're going to go right over here to Shared with Me. And we have the yearbook folder. So what you would do is you would right click on it, and you would choose Add to My Drive. So you click on that, and what happens is you go back over to My Drive, and now there is a 2017-2018 yearbook folder, and you see the little bitty guy? That shows that that is a shared folder. And now that folder isn't yours, but it's always in your drive, so that you know you can get into it, and it's always going to be there, and it's just a folder like all of your others, and you don't have to keep going to your Shared with Me files. It's different than making a copy of it. If you made a copy of it, it wouldn't keep updating. So if you go back to Shared with Me, another option would be, this is an old document, I could right click and make a copy. Making a copy just duplicates it. So it's a little bit different. This just moves that folder over to your drive. Okay, so if you want a shared document to just always be in your drive, you do move to your drive. Or if you want a copy of a document, you right click and you make a copy. Okay, and you'll notice that as I'm talking about this, there are lots of other options within your drive. You can just look at it, you can share the document, you can move it to another folder. So if you have this document and you want to move it, you can click Move To, and then you can go into your drive and you can choose to move it into your Computer Applications folder. You just click on the arrow and then you click Move Here, and that will move that document into your Computer Applications folder. There's also Download. You guys won't download, but if you are at home and you needed to, you could. And then there's also Remove, which would put that in the trash. So that is your Google Drive. You'll be using your drive a lot, so you want to get comfortable with it. Just remember it's the hub. If you can't find anything, come back to your drive. If you're looking for an assignment that you've been working on, come back to your drive and go into your recent documents and look through your documents. There's a silly picture. Make sure that you name all of your documents so that you don't have a bunch of untitled things. You always want things to have a title, and then you'll be able to find them. But all of your recent documents will be in here, and then you'll be able to find things. So if you can't find an assignment, don't panic. Go look in your drive, and they should be there because